More now on what seems like the never-ending scandal surrounding Mark Hurd. Now the SEC is looking at whether he may have leaked insider information. So what kind of case does the SEC have? Let's bring in former Assistant U.S. Attorney Fred Tecce. He joins us live from Philadelphia. Fred, it's a cliche to say soap opera, but trying to understand this story, it really sounds like one. I mean, with this latest report, it's information that perhaps Hurd leaked about EDS and the acquisition of that company to a contractor. Not clear who the contractor is, not clear what the information is. From what you've seen, what kind of case does the SEC have?
That would be, from what I've seen, no case at this point. Quite frankly, I mean, you know, look, these insider trading cases are difficult enough for the government to win as it is. And what I'm a little bit kind of, I would say, annoyed about is that the SEC has announced, or information has come out, that the SEC is looking into Mark Hurd's departure and information that he gave to a contractor. Now, kind of implicit to me from the article and what other people have said is that this contractor is this woman, Jody Fisher. And, you know, look, I went and Google imaged her just like everybody else, and I could understand the issues. But putting that aside, even if he gave it to her, she is what the Supreme Court calls a tippee. Right. She has insider information, and you know it's called insider trading for a reason. The operative word being trading, and unless you show that she did something with that information, this is much ado about nothing at this point.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you, because the point is well taken here. It's unclear whether the contractor that's supposedly received the information was the same event contractor, Jody Fisher, where the accusations of harassment and whatnot are circling. But
correct.
If the information was given and not acted upon, you're saying there's no case. It's only if someone went out and executed a trade?
Correct. Remember, it's insider trading. Someone has to trade upon information that they obtained from an insider who Mark Hurd would clearly qualify as an insider, and then whoever the contractor is, whether it's her or someone else, would have then had to have traded either EDS stock or HP stock in anticipation of the announcement. Mm-hmm. So I don't see that, and that the SEC is looking into whether or not he falsified his expense reports. That's quite frankly none of their business. I mean, that's a private matter between HP and Mark Hurd, and whether or not I've seen allegations that they allege that he destroyed documents on the way out the door. I mean, what are you trying to imply, that the guy's guilty of obstruction of justice? That's a tough call, absent showing that he was aware that there was an ongoing investigation and that somehow he destroyed documents with a specific intent to impede or thwart a federal criminal investigation. So right now, Margaret, based on what I've seen, I mean, you get two things as a prosecutor. You have control and you have credibility. And if the SEC is coming out and talking about this kind of stuff, in my opinion, they're giving away a little bit of their credibility, which they're going to need going after hedge funds in the future.
Right. Well, why would the SEC undertake this if they don't have a real lead there in terms of, questionable trades? I mean, could this be part of a broader investigation, as you said?
Well, it always can be. I mean, it could be part of a broader investigation. And I understand the SEC's objectives. Look, the SEC's objectives are to kind of cut down and stop insider trading. And I get that. And I get that they're trying to make sure that people who engage in the kind of nefarious conduct are aware that the SEC is out there. And the U.S. Attorney from the Southern District has made it very clear that he's going to go after people who do that. Right. But and I get that that's the message, but ultimately you got to balance that against taking positions that aren't going to help you going forward.
Now, what does this mean for Hurd's current employer? Are there ramifications for Oracle?
Well, I mean, tough to tell at this point. I mean, probably not. And I understand that HP is cooperating in the investigation. And I got to tell you, Margaret, HP's general counsel is a guy named Mike Holston. Mike and I were federal prosecutors together here in Philadelphia. I worked with him. He's a smart guy. He's got good judgment, and he knows what's going on. And if he looked into this, which HP is alleged to have done, Mike Holston knows where the landmines are buried and knows what the problem is. And if heaven help Mark Hurd, if Holston looked into this, the HP's got an internal investigation, and the SEC comes knocking, and it turns out that there was some type of liability there. So as far as Oracle's concerned, I don't see it yet. Highly unlikely. It would really be based upon Hurd's conduct while he was at HP.
Yeah, well, plenty of twists and turns in this one. Thanks for giving us your perspective.